If this was a circus, we'd be counting how many clowns can pile out of a tiny car just before the elephants take the stage. If it was a Tom Petty concert, we'd be hearing the closing number from Lucinda Williams. If it were a courtship, it would be the third date invite to come in for a nightcap. It's the time for the event before what we've all been waiting for. The Simulation Stock Car Association brings its AdPro Cup Series to Darlington for the 17th and final regular season round before the playoffs. The SimSpeed Shop 200 is on tap, the last chance for drivers to pick up precious playoff points, and you can see them try, because from green flag to victory donuts, all the action comes to you live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel. From the Palmetto State, hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm Bill Soupzon, joined by Tanner Sharp. Joe Peak is our director with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Tanner, no stock car season seems complete without a visit to this place.
Absolutely. This racetrack is one of the most unique racetracks on the NASCAR circuit. This marks a NASCAR throwback event. Drivers will pick out a retro paint scheme from the pre-2000s to honor those who have driven this legendary oval. Harold Brassington bought 70 acres from a farmer, Sherman Ramsey, and started making a racetrack from a cotton and peanut field. However, he was forced to create an egg-shaped oval with one corner tighter, narrower, and more steeply banked because he promised Ramsey that the new track wouldn't disturb Ramsey's minnow pond at the west side of the property. Brassington was able to make the other turn, at least on the east side of the property, wide, sweeping, and flat as he wanted. The design of the track remains the same today. It has a 1.366 mile course, 4 turns. In turns 1 and 2 is 25 degrees of banking. Turns 3 and 4, it's 23 degrees of banking. On the front stretch, it's 3 degrees of banking. And on the back stretch, it's 2 degrees of banking. If a driver doesn't come out of here without a Darlington stripe, I will be shocked. So to get an idea how to get around Darlington Raceway, let's hop on board the Monster Energy Cup Car Chevrolet SS to show you around the track too tough to tame.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazdick, taking you for a spin around Darlington Raceway in the GSRC Chevrolet SS. Without further ado, here we go around this 1.3 egg-shaped oval steeped in history. Down into turn 1, you're going to be using the apron on the left side there to make that corner, using the throttle to actually kind of control the middle to the exit, keep it low on exit, swing it right out towards that wall, don't earn yourself a Darlington stripe. Down here into turn 3 where the safer barrier starts. It's kind of always been my mark to get onto the brakes, let it drift up here towards the top of the track, drive it straight from the middle down and down the front stretch once again. Off into turn 1. As the run progresses, you're probably going to be using brakes to try to help you, but while the tires are fresh, you're straight to the bottom, let the throttle dictate how you're going to get through the corner, because that's where your lap time in a run can be made or lost. Down in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, drive it right up to that top where the shade comes in from the wall. That should give you a little extra grip down the front stretch and across the line. That's going to complete our guide here around Darlington. I'm Brian Yazdick. Enjoy the show.
A lap around Darlington, the host venue for today's SimSpeed Shop 200. The SimSpeedShop.com. A great place to order custom button boxes as well as buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to simspeedshop.com. Now, before we get to the standings and the details, let's check out qualifying that's underway right now. 14 drivers have already put in qualifying times, with Daniel Eberhard sitting at the top. Andrew Ferrignard is out there as well, sits in second. He's been dominant all season long. We'll talk a little bit more about him later. On camera right now, we are looking at Kyle Kammer, the Hammer, out there, currently sitting in 9th. One of the drivers that is due to make the playoffs. Remember, this is the final round before the playoffs, and Kyle is comfortably in the top 12 that will carry over. and comfortably on the chart in 9th position. Now, a lot of the drivers were wait just a bit to see if they bring out another group. A lot of drivers were asked to come out, but many of them decided that they were going to start from the back. Tanner, that's a bit surprising. It's starting from the back is no good if everybody starts from the back.
Well, this track is too tough to tame no matter where you're starting here in the field because A, the track temperature is extremely hot. 2, the fastest way around this joint is right up against that wall without even touching it. It's, a little difficult. That's a little difficult thing to do, but it sounds easy, right? It's certainly not because, like I said at the top of the show here, Soup, it is, I'd be shocked if no driver doesn't get any kind of Darlington stripe on there. This is the Lady in Black, too tough to tame, and I'm just curious on who's going to tame this racetrack before the checker flag.
Well, somebody's going to try to tame it right now is the 91 of Brett Ladehoff. He starts to roll out as the next group is coming out. Talk about a throwback paint scheme. How about the 044? That has the beautiful, fabulous Hudson Hawk on that one. Oh, the Hudson Hornet. This is not qualifying. Of all the, I'm not sure what the drivers are doing out there. Of all the tracks to have a throwback paint scheme on, Darlington will be my last choice to have that. The right side of your car is going to end up look like the hoodlums down the street have keyed it here. This is interesting as we have a little bit, maybe they're posing for a photo op. Well, this gives us an opportunity to tell you who our Speed Shop pole sitter winner is. And I believe round number 17 is going to go to Daniel Eberhard. Now, keep in mind that for every 2 poles, a driver earns $5, and the driver with the most poles at the end of the season earns $20, courtesy of simspeedshop.com. A great place, as I said before, to order custom button boxes as well as buy and sell used equipment. For more information, you know where to go, simspeedshop.com. Let's take this opportunity now to look at the driver standings as we conclude the regular season. Andrew Farnyars has dominated the regular season, collecting 6 wins, 40 playoff points, plus a lock on the regular season championship. That should make him a sure bet to walk over from the round of 12 to the round of 8. While 9 different drivers have won races so far, only Dylan Jones, David Washington, and Ryan Hill are regulars whose wins will advance them into the playoffs. The goal for most of these drivers will be that you see on the chart right now will be to advance from the round of 12 to the round of 8. By that time, all the regular season work that Farnyars has done will be washed away, and the championship basically begins anew with just 4 races to go. How about this? William Locklear has managed to squirm his way back up above the cut line, and with Jesse Abrams showing up here, it's going to be really close to see who's going to round out the 12th and final playoff point, assuming that none of the other drivers farther down pick up a surprise win. All right, Taylor, as we look at cars that are out there, I'm not sure if this is a qualifying run. It sure does look like a qualifying run. I may have jumped the gun on awarding our SimSpeed Pole Award. Let's go ahead and take this opportunity to look at the race details as we do look at Jesse Abrams out there on track right now in the 97. And there we have it. And Tanner, what do you see?
Well, I certainly see a lot. This is a great information right here. This is the round 17 of 17 of the regular season, and it's more than likely going to go to Andrew Farnyars. But the whole entire season ain't over yet because we have 7 playoff races after this. Tonight's race is a fixed setup with an 80% fuel load. And yes, each team, each driver has a set of tires. Each team is allowed 5 sets of tires here tonight, with 4 of them starting on the car. 2 cause incidents from a driver gets that driver disqualified. And yes, folks, there is a green-white checkers in this series. No, iRacing did not implement it, but this series implemented it. If the race finishes under yellow, the top 10 drivers will have 1 attempt for a green-white checkered, going green after the pace car pulls in from the victory lap.
I can report that the 97 of Jesse Abraham did put in a qualifying lap. My gosh, that is one pretty paint scheme on him. It's neonism is what it says on there, and then well, the name the paint scheme lives up to the name for certain. That one's going to be easy to spot. You see him to the far left of your screen there. The bad news for Jesse is he really didn't put in much of a qualifying time. He's going to be gridded 15th of the last car of all the drivers who did put in times. There are some big names drivers who, I guess, decided to start at the back. Gabriel Wood, Gerald Campbell, William Locklear, who's in that battle for the champion to get into the playoffs, is sitting in did not put in a qualifying time, unless there's more to come. Pretty good sized field here with 15 drivers putting in qualifying time and another 10 that did not. I say we got about 25 out there today.
Ooh, this is going to be exciting there. So we realistically have 3 races going on today. We have the race for the trophy here at Darlington. We have a race to get into the playoffs between Locklear and Jesse Abraham. And also, we have a race against the racetrack. You've ever heard that term where you just race the racetrack and not your competitor? Well, this is the track where you want to race the track and not your competitor.
I do have to admit, that is a pretty picture that the drivers have put up there for us, as they've got most of the cars out there in parking lot position. Let's go ahead and take this opportunity. If we can bring up our graphic that is race analysis, we can tell you actually how far we're running here today. And you can see that what Tanner was talking about, it's 150 laps, but that really doesn't matter until the very end. What we're going to talk about is the stages. We go 40 laps. You pick up some playoff points if you're first to the, what would be the green checkered flag, I guess. Then stage 2, another 40 laps, and then finally 70 laps for 150 all together. You can hear over the speakers the engines all singing together as they harmonize, saluting this throwback schemes that they have here today.
Oh, we got the DuPont scheme of Gerald Campbell out there. Oh, don't wreck the car.
Now this is fun. Only in iRacing can you spend all that time painting your car and then go out and bang it up, because you can get a nice new one there. Although it only works in this qualifying session. Of course, there are no fast repairs when it comes to the actual race. Careful with that Hornet. Reminds me back when my dad used to take me to Ascot when I was a little boy, and after the race was done, there's the 00 machine. The demolition derby would start. Of course, they weren't able to blink away when things got tough.
Oh man, if these guys are in for a demolition derby, oh, look at that, upside down.
Of course, this is the Simulated Stock Car Association. They run 3 series, and we're covering them all here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We got the big series here today, the Cup Series. Then there is the B Car. And we've picked up for the playoffs the very exciting Truck Series that they have as well. Everything shows up on Wednesday and Thursday nights, so check in with us for the rest of the summer and into the fall as we bring you the championship for all 3 series. Should be pointed out that drivers are encouraged to cross over, a little cross-pollination. However, they do not score points. They can only race in one championship, so they have to announce which one they're going to race in. Similar to how the NASCAR does it. And I guess this is a good opportunity now that we can go to the grid. So let's run down your starting grid. And it is what we talked about, your Sim Speed Shop pole winner today, Daniel Everhart, on the front row inside of Andrew Farnyars. Alan Elwood and Richard Regan make up row 2. Andrew Payne and Dylan Jones in the 3rd row. In the 7th spot, it's Brett Laidhoff. He's going to be inside of David Washington. And row 5 is populated by the Hammer, Kyle Kammer, and Josh Bonwell flanks him.
Outside that top 10, starting 11th tonight, Luis Salmasso. He'll start side by side with the number 37 of Ethan Moore. Gary Sexton is going to start 13th here tonight. He'll start alongside in 14th, Judd Danielson. Jesse Abrahams trying to make it into the playoffs. 9-point gap between him and William Locklear. Jesse will start 15th here tonight, the last driver to take qualification time. Gabriel Wood is going to start in the 16th spot. 17th, Gerald Campbell. 18th, Mark McFadden. 19th, there is William Locklear, who is racing Jesse tonight. And rounding out the top 20, Daniel Jackson.
Then a few other drivers back in there: Morgan Baird, Ryan Hill, Eric Stanford, and the detective, Ellery Queen. Right now, William Locklear is going to start in what appears to be position 20th, and Jesse Abraham in the 15th spot. That interval we said was, if I remember right, 7 points. I'll have to double check if it was 7 or 9. 9 points between Abraham and Locklear. So Jesse's got a little work to do. Luckily for us, the math is easy because the point system is just 1.4 position. So it doesn't matter whether they finish 10 winner and 10th or 10th and 20th. The interval will be the same. Well, the regular season has finally come to an end. What they do on the regular season and in the playoffs is make sure that these cars visit every track that the NASCAR cars go to, but they don't go there twice. So that's why our season is a little shorter. Gotta love a track that's an oval that isn't an oval. It's an ovoid. We heard about it in the beginning. And Tanner, it makes for an interesting race with turns 1 and 2 needing a different setup than 3 and 4.
You have to enter the corner very different than 3 and 4, but the fastest way around both corners is going to be right up against that wall. But turn 2 is just a little different because you do have to breathe the throttle just a little bit to get the car to be able to turn so you don't hit the outside wall of turn 2. I believe turn 2 today is going to be a real nail-biter over corner for many of these drivers, especially with the weather and the track temperature being so high. And the weather today is partly cloudy with 86 degrees on what I'm reading, but that track temperature is going to be the biggest key as far as these guys coming off the corner. 114 degrees. It is going to be ice. It is going to be slick out there for these guys here at Darlington. And you thought that Darlington, just the racetrack, was tough. Man, that track temperature is just even going to make it tougher.
Does the surface wear the tires here at Darlington?
It certainly does, man. You're going to want tires ASAP. With a high track temperature like that, those tires will be gone within about 2 to 3 laps, and you will see lap time difference within the first 10 laps.
And keep in mind that there is a max tires that's are available. They start with 4 on the car. There are 16 in the pits waiting to be used, but they have to ration them to make sure that they don't want to be on old rubber when it comes down to racing for real. Well, the commentators are ready, the director's ready, the simulator fans are ready. I hope you, the viewers, are ready because we got 150 laps of NASCAR oval racing on tap tonight. All the attention now goes to car number 90. Pace car pulls in. Daniel Eberhard in control of the field. Bringing him up slowly. Yeah, they're at the chicken steak, covering on the cows because the horses are indeed out of the barn. And
huge wreck. Huge wreck right off the bat. Caution is out.
Oh, my goodness. I think it started with the 56. It did. It was the 56 of Josh Bonwell. The car got loose to him right off the bat. He puts it in the wall, loses all the momentum, and then it's the Blues Brothers as they start piling in.
Man, oh
man.
man.
Get this one on replay. There's the 56. We just caught the tail end, and we'll read back to one more shot at that one. If I didn't know better, I'd say Josh Bonwell started the race on old tires. Watch that citrus flavor car. You see him get in the wall, then it starts to turn sideways, and then that outside lane, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Now, as we're going to go on board one more time, looking from a little farther back, this is from William Locklear. Remember, Locklear is in this playoff hunt. Boom!
Ooh, that's some heavy nose damage right there. That could be a big concern for William Locklear.
Now, those familiar with iRacing know that this could be a bit of a sorting out process here, because sometimes when a crash happens before the start-finish line, iRacing starts to lay down some black flags to drivers that look like they may have passed on the inside lane. And I think that's what's happening now, as they're trying to clear a lot of these black flags from people who picked it up that didn't deserve it.
Normally, go ahead.
No, after you.
Okay, yeah, I was just about to say, normally you would not see heavy wheel spin on fresh tires right off the bat, but I think that just goes to show with the hot track temperature and you just pound in the gas because you're going green, you can definitely spin the tires. So you're really going to have to use a lot of throttle control to get these restarts going here because you're starting in second gear.
Spinning the tires is bad enough, then having it get in the wall and turn sideways right in front of the field. Not the best day to start the race for the number 56 of Josh Bonwell.
Good news for Jesse Abraham. He has a lot less damage. I'm not seeing any really damage on Jesse Abraham, but William Locklear has some severe nose damage. That could be a concern if he runs out there during a green flag stint, that engine could overheat. So he possibly could come down pit road, fix that as much as he can, get back on out there, because realistically he could be in danger before the checkered flag falls on not being a part of the playoffs.
And let's not forget, there's always the outside hope that some of these drivers that are not, that we saw outside of the top 14 that we put in there, have a win from out of nowhere and find themselves in the playoffs. A long shot indeed, but it could happen. All right, race control continuing to sort through the process of getting all those black flag clears. Kyle Barnes doing yeoman work out there right now, trying to get everybody sorted out. You're not allowed to pass on the inside line before the start-finish line in iRacing, and when the outside line has issues like it did, the black flags are going to be handed out like candy on Halloween.
Looks like the race officials are going to extend this yellow flag right now to get everything all sorted out.
Let's go ahead and look at the points here. This will give you an idea of what it will take for Locklear to lock in that championship. There, see right there, regular season points. You get 43 for winning, but you get 10 stage points. Now, probably not all that important right now, although it would be to the guys that are like Locklear and Abraham. What these guys are actually racing for is most of the regular season points positions are locked in with Barnyard's comfortable. They're looking for those playoff points that are still available here for winning the stage and winning the race.
Yeah, absolutely. With Abraham and Locklear, I tell you what, if they can finish in the top 10 at the end of a stage, that'll give them bonus points if they can finish in the top 10, and that's going to be crucial for those two drivers.
Yep.
As I do believe race official says we are going to get the 1-to-go signal this time by.
Hopefully we'll have a better start. We got that one out of the way. But I'm telling you, that's why you need to gather up those chickens, because you never know what's going to happen on an opening lap, and you want to make sure that...
You just never know what's going to happen when them horses get out of the barn.
That's it. They stumbled going over the corral gate that time. Hopefully they'll got that sorted out right now. That's it. Look at those beautiful paint schemes out there. Most of them still looking pretty good. Some in the back a little bit banged up.
I do see a beautiful one that I did not call. It was that 88. Looks like the old Dale Jarrett days I'm seeing, right? The Quality Care Service.
There you go. The kind of the Dodger blue machine.
Oh, one thing to note, too, if we do get a green flag stint and pit stops, pit road, this is one of the hardest pit roads on iRacing to get onto it because you have to go far left. You really have to back it down on the backstretch.
Okay, the pace car jumps off the track, and we're ready to try this one more time. We'll be going green for lap number 7. Bringing him out a little earlier this time is Daniel Eberhard. That's going to make things a little bit easier. Nobody spins the tires back behind. And the entire field gets into the first corner safely. They start to sort out into single file. It's Eberhard out in front. Alan Elwood, Andrew Farnyars, Andrew Payne, and Richard Regan, your top 5.
Oh, man. Farnyars and Payne, they were side by side in turns 1 and 2, but they're sorted out pretty quickly as Eberhard completes the first lap under the green flag as the race leader.
And the 46 of Richard Regan on the coming out of the 4th corner, gets his first Darlington stripe, but the car continues. And he gets a second one coming out of corner number 2 just to make it match. Back half of your top 10. Dylan Jones, David Washington, Brett Ladoff, Kyle the Hammer in 9th, Luis Salamosa.
Ooh, Dylan Jones going for position side by side in turns 1 and 2. This is a little hairy for an early portion of the race, especially coming off turn number 2. Side by side, coming off 25 degrees of banking, very tight for the number 46 of Richard Regan Jr. Still side by side as they head down to the very narrow 23 degrees of banking, turn number 3.
Oh.
Jones slides right in front of him, and Regan gives him a little bit of a bumper tap to no affection.
Regan had already had the car in the wall twice, and my goodness, Dylan Jones just knew exactly how much room he had as he brought the car up right in front of Regan. They get it sorted out. Regan now back into 6th.
Oh, Regan fishtailing it off turn number 2. What a save, man. He was left, right, like he was dancing with a chainsaw.
Thick setups here in this series, but Regan does not like what the race stewards have given him. He is struggling right now. Looking back a little bit of Brett Ladoff. He's chasing behind David Washington. Washington with already a win this season.
Came 2 weeks ago. Ooh, I think Brett may have gotten into the wall just a little bit off of turn number 2, along with David Washington.
Look at the good run out of 4 from Brett. He's going to force the issue. Not yet. Continue to race in line ahead of Kyle Kammer.
Oh, man, cars beating and banging off turn number 2. I do believe the first driver was Andrew Payne to hit the wall, and then Richard Regan kind of followed him into the wall. Regan's in trouble right now.
He is still in the wall. Richard.
Oh, Dylan Jones going after Andrew Payne here down turn 1. Side by side. I tell you what, normally drivers would give and take. There's a little give and take right there.
So while that goes on, Jones moves up into 4th. Payne drops back into 5th.
All the way down to 10th place for Richard Regan Jr. He is very struggling in the opening laps of this race. He's got a long way to go in this 150-lap event, and we've already completed 13 laps. I mean, if he's already hitting the wall like he is and giving up the stripe, he's in for a long day.
Must have listened to a little Pink Floyd before the race because he has been in the wall a lot. Ladoff continues to work. Oh, look at this. Here comes the run from the 8th. Boy, Cameron cannot do anything.
Looked like Cameron, when he got into that turn 4, the car started pushing up a little tight, so he had to back out of it. Ladoff is in trouble. He's hitting the wall. He's knocking the wall down, but he's trying to hang on to that thing. Ooh, he got a car a little bit off track back there. Trying to figure out who that was.
Judd Danielson, I think. My goodness, the 17. I cannot believe that it didn't bring out a caution flag as the car was perpendicular. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one, and this will just emphasize the strangeness of the iRacing stewards, when sometimes they will throw a flag and sometimes they won't. Now, of course, he was 1 lap down racing in the lucky dog position when this happened. And we'll see it here. Car gets strange, and then, boy, and then this. And it's not over yet.
Oh, man.
And how about that one. But I guess since no cars were coming, the iRacing steward said, play on. Up in front, Daniel Eberhard has a 0.7 of a second lead over Alan Elwood. Tanner, is this the type of race where maybe you can save your tires and be a little faster at the end of a stint? Maybe some of these guys who are farther back might be able to make a run later on?
Yeah, this is the racetrack where you want to try to conserve as much tire as you can, especially with a high track temperature. And, oh, Elliot Queen is sliding.
Oh, and he collects one more car in the process.
Caution.
Try to see who that was that he caught. Going by, it was the 84 of Daniel Jackson. Tried to take evasive action. Boy, poor Daniel. He just guessed wrong.
Tell you what, just... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, no.
Yeah, Jesse Abraham had to get on. He used the apron of the track to get around Ellery Queen. Oh, Daniel Jackson took a pretty good lick right there.
Boy, he had a choice to go. It looked like Queen's car was going to stay up high. I can see why he goes low. You be the driver. You make the decision. Look how long you have to react. You see the car. It's going to go up in the wall. I'll go down below. Then it comes down and gets him.
Yep. Sometimes you got to make a decision, and he made the decision, and unfortunately it was the wrong decision. At no fault of Daniel Jackson. It's just one of those days.
So we go yellow for the second time on lap number 18. We're currently working lap 20. Most of the leaders staying out.
First car down pit road, Richard Regan Jr., and he was struggling in the opening laps of this race, so it might as well come down, get 4 fresh tires, and just try to take it easy.
Yeah, whatever else they can do to keep that car out of the wall would be much appreciated. I got to think here, as we still have 20 laps to go, that if you wanted to come in and maybe pick up a stage win, that maybe coming in and picking up tires might be the way to go.
It could, but again, this is a hard track that you have to understand. This is a hard track to pass on here, and a lot of times there's going to be drivers that it's not going to give and take, unless you really want to go the Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven style, if anybody remembers that. But I don't think that'll be very ideal early in the race. I mean, it could be a smart strategy, because really lap times, they were running 28 as a best lap time for the race leader, and looking at his lap times before that caution came out here, pull up my graph.
Over a second slower.
Yes, over a second slower. So it could be a good idea to come down and get some stickers.
Just to drill down a little bit on that, his best lap time, and of course we're talking about Daniel Eberhard, the race leader, was on lap 8, which was really basically the second lap of the race when we started the race for sure. After that first green, we went, after the first yellow took us yellow for 7 laps. So he put in a 28.6. His next lap before the caution came out was a 29.8, so over about 1.2 seconds slower. That's why I'm saying maybe some of these guys might want to come in, grab some tires, and see if they can get to the front here with 18 laps before the stage is over.
I think one driver did come down to get tires, and he's one of our drivers outside looking in. Maybe not. I think he just came down to get damage repair. That was Jesse Abraham. He didn't stay. He stayed in there for 13 seconds. I'm not sure if he grabbed tires or not, or just stayed down there to get damage repaired.
Well, again, this to talk about strategy for him, and we talked about how those bonus points for finishing the top 10 really didn't matter much to anybody other than William Locklear and Jesse Abraham. Yes, come on in, get tires, see if you can find yourself inside the top 10. Close the gap a little bit on your prey.
And speaking of William Locklear, he came down under that first caution and gets so much damage repaired. That front end nose looks pretty good right now on that number 4 AC Delco Chevrolet. The old Dale Earnhardt Jr. paint scheme looks pretty fantastic, but nonetheless, he is back. He just collected the lucky dog this lap, so under this caution, so he's back on the lead lap.
There you have it. As hopefully we'll be able to get to the end of this stage. That'll finish up on lap number 40 under green. our race leader, as he has been the entire time, is still Daniel Eberhard. And Tanner, I guess it's no surprise, Daniel's decided that he's going to start from the top side if he's going to bring them down here.
Yeah, no surprise indeed, because once he gets on the gas pedal, he should be able to clear Alan Elwood, who's currently in second place on the bottom. So Eberhard should be able to keep his track position and play with that clean air. Here we go, Soup. We're back on the loud pedal, and there he goes with a huge jump off the corner.
Unlike the opening, oh my goodness, the 42 does not get going. Oh. Alan Elwood must have missed a ship or something. Oh my goodness. They go around him left and right. Tip of the hat to the entire field that gets around him. Elwood must have had some wheel spin. The car would not go, and it continues not to go. Another driver off is the 55 of Ryan Hill. He's slow. Meanwhile, up front, it's still Eberhard. Oh, we dodged a bullet that time. Andrew Farnyar's now up into second position. Farnyar's honestly out there in the 88, just racing for experience. He needs no more playoff points. He's got more than he can handle. If he picks up any more playoff points, it'd be gluttony.
It would be, but those playoff points are important every single race, Suit.
Andrew Payne in third. Fourth is Laidhoff. Dylan Jones in fifth. But then we get to this battle we're looking at right here for sixth. This is David Washington. And then this driver, Luis Salamoso. Now, Salamoso, I don't think he is on the inside the top 12. So he's one of those guys that could be sneaky fast and maybe find his way in the playoffs by picking up a win here in the last chance.
I've raced against Luis before and seen him run different series. And I tell you what, he's a very sneaky, fast driver indeed. Right now, he has a good, clean race car racing in the top 10. And right ahead of him is just 6th place. So hopefully Luis is just usually he kind of just buys his time and then really he's there at the end. He almost kind of pulls like a Kevin Harvick kind of move. Oh, we got a car. Dylan Jones hit the wall pretty good off of turn number 2. Towards the inside, saves it. But he still remains in 5th place.
Jones, one of the drivers that has a win this season. Now, he has a few playoff points, but he could sure use a little bit more to help him advance from the round of 12 to the round of 8. That'll be a 3-race round. And if you're in the top 8, or if you pick up a win, you get to advance. Yeah,
Jones is like, I don't know if he's burned off the tires or what, or is he driving it really hard, but he's just, that back end of the car is just snapping loose off the corner of the racetrack, off turn 2.
Looking up front at the leaders. And maybe sitting back there, saving his stuff, not showing everything he had early, is Andrew Farnyar's, because now the 88 start to look pretty racy.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's actually gained on Eberhard, so this is very interesting to see if he can get by Eberhard for position. But I don't think Eberhard's going to give it up that easy. I do believe we have an update on our new stints here for... Oh, we got battle for top spot here. He got it. That was actually a lot of give and take on Daniel Eberhard's part. Not risking anything. Let Farnyar's go for the top spot at the moment. And I do believe this is the caution out, and we do have an update here. This is the end of the stage. Stage 1 is 30 laps, Stage 2 is 40 laps, and Stage 3 is the final 80.
Oh, Oh, so they changed the numbers on us.
They did, unfortunately. But yeah, this would be the end of the stage 1.
Boy, you would think with the stage being so close to the end there that Eberhard might have put up more of a battle, but maybe they are teammates now. Of course, there are no teams in this series, but they might be teammates in the iRacing world. But nevertheless, Andrew Farnyars picks up the stage win.
Yeah, that was a very easy give up on Eberhard's part. I'm not sure. I don't think he's even running for the championship in this series.
Farnyars, yeah, we're thinking that maybe because Eberhard's maybe not running for points, he let him have it. Farnyars, Eberhard, Payne, Leidenhoff, Jones, your top 5. Washington, Salamoso, Sexton, Moore, and Campbell all getting those points. The battle that we were concerned about, William Locklear, not inside the top 10, no points for him. The same for Jesse Abraham. That interval remains the same. Okay, with pit stops being done right now, I guess maybe might be a time to go to break here so we can... No, we'll stay here. We're going to stay here and watch and see who comes out first.
This is the opportunity to come down pit road to get 4 tires, man. And 4 tires is every time you come around pit road and you don't have damage on the car, you get 4 tires, not 2 tires, because you're going to be spinning the car like crazy. And it looks like Farnyars is going to get to the line first, then Eberhard, and then Andrew Payne, Dylan Jones, and David Washington, the top 5, exiting the pits.
Interesting enough, Richard Regan and Daniel Jackson stay out. Now, they came in at the last yellow. Maybe they took some tires there, and maybe they're going to get some track position.
Well, Richard Regan's on 11-lap old tires, and Daniel Jackson's 14. Daniel's going to come in right now, but Richard Regan's going to elect to stay out at the moment.
So I believe he is going to be bringing the field to the green flag when we do come back to green to get stage 2 underway. Farnyars was first out of the pits. Eberhard, Payne, Jones, and Washington. They'll grid up 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th behind Richard Regan, who decided to stay out.
I understand the track position is key here, Soup, but man, I'm a little worried. Richard Regan struggled in the early portion of the race, and we still are in the early portion of the race yet. And yeah, it was the end of stage 1, but I'm just wondering if he gets too hard on that throttle, that thing's going to go for a spin. And every time a driver has spun its tires, that car has darted to the right.
So just to make sure that the lead commentator is on board here, we are going 40 laps now, and we're going to lap 70. Is that my understanding, boys and girls?
I do believe so.
Okay, all right.
Yep. Because it'll be the second stage will be 40 laps, and then the third stage will be the final 80.
A full 80 laps for that final stage. Well, that'll be good.
Might be interesting too, because we might see some green flag pit stops, and I do believe if we do see green flag pit stops today, it's going to shake up the field, because probably one of the hardest pit roads to get onto, other than probably Dover, for goodness sakes. This track, man, you got to back it down the back straightaway, and don't even be speeding when you get towards turn number 3, and make sure you find pit road, because pit road's so far towards the infield, it's crazy. Looks like Regan.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Regan's actually looks like he's doing some practice starts, making sure, how to get onto the throttle, just kind of testing it out a little bit. So he's going to be the race leader once we go green. We have the one to go signal this time by, so we're all double filed up, ready to go. So let's see what Regan Jr. can do, because he's got some heavy hitters with some 4 fresh stickers right behind him when he takes the green flag.
His tires are about 10 laps older than the rest of the field.
And I can confirm lap 70 will be stage 2 end.
Cool. Check in on our battle for the final playoff spot there. Jesse Abraham sits in 11th. William Locklear in 13th. Right now, Locklear still having a lock on that final spot. Okay, the pace car's in. It's time to go racing one more time. Hey, having a pretty good start from Regan. Gets that 46 car out there. Stuck on the inside, though, is the 88 of Barnyards, but he finally gets it going. But look at the run on top from Payne.
And almost gave each other, almost traded paint, and they're still trading paint with each other other than the outside wall. Still side by side as they head down turns 3 and 4. Andrew Payne gets a huge, nice little run off the corner exit there. Payne to second place. Barnyards, he's kind of give and taken just a little bit here. He just lost another position to Eberhardt. Eberhardt now in third. Barnyards backs up into the fourth spot. Right now, Andrew Payne's hunting down for the race lead, and he might challenge for that top spot on Richard Regan Jr. So far, Richard is doing a nice job in holding on to the top spot at the moment. Oh, looking towards the inside goes Andrew Payne.
Eberhardt with a good run out of 4, but nowhere to put it. Meanwhile, I think Payne's going to go ahead and close the door on Regan as we have a new leader. Remember, Eberhard has been really the fastest car out here. As you can see him making the move on Regan right now, even though he did not get the stage win.
He might have kissed the wall just a little bit off of turn number 2, but it did not scrub off any speed. Right now, man, Eberhard had a nice, huge run off of turn 4. Top battle for the lead right now. Eberhard on the bottom. Side by side with Andrew Payne. Andrew Payne's not going to give it up. Gets a nice run right next to the wall. Single file down the back straightaway. Here goes Barnyards trying to get by Richard Regan Jr. for third.
So far, the strategy for Regan has worked out. Yes, he's fallen from the lead back and forth, but that's farther up than he was racing. How long can he hold on, though? That's the question, as it looks like David Washington is going to be next to make a move on the 46 machine.
Tell you what, Eberhard is not giving up. He's still trying to push a little pressure on that number 93 of Andrew Payne for the top spot. Still running single file down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, Richard Regan Jr. is losing spots right now. Stay hanging on to the 4th spot, but he's feeling the pressure from David Washington and Dylan Jones as they come off turn number 4.
Regan able to hold on to that spot for now, but now looking down underneath is David Washington. I think he's going to get that one made. There is just no bite from the tires of the 46 coming off the quarter, and now he begins to get freight trained. Dylan Jones goes by. Oh, Regan's sawing on the wheel.
On the wheel, and I do believe Ethan Moore kind of rolled the wall a little bit to avoid hitting the back bumper of Richard Regan. This is pretty much a stack up back here.
All this going behind the leaders that are racing pretty darn close. Payne, Eberhard, and Barnyards. We'll keep an eye on that if anyone makes a stab for the lead.
Yeah, Eberhard's been looking here and there, but has not been able to get side by side with Payne just yet. Oh, Eberhard's got a nice run, but I don't know if he's got anywhere to go with it at the moment. Still pushing the pressure on that 93 of Andrew Payne. And everybody's remaining single file.
You almost got to wonder if Eberhard's saying, man, I don't want to use up too much of my stuff trying to get to the lead. I won't have anything left at the end.
Andrew Payne got a little loose coming off turn number 2, man, but he still hangs on. Eberhard giving and taking just a little bit. But if he keeps messing up that corner of turn number 2, Eberhard's just going to slingshot pass by.
Come across the line. Leading lap number 43, working on 44 is Andrew Payne. Regan, who started on the pole for this second stint, has fallen back to 6th.
Yeah, everybody's snaking coming off that corner number 2. Eberhard's still bleeding down the neck of Payne. Richard Regan Jr. has now fallen into the clutches of the number 37, Ethan Moore. Looks like Regan pulls towards the inside. Nope, he's not just going to give it to him. This is the biggest battle on the speedway at the moment for the 6th spot between Richard Regan and Ethan Moore. And a little further back, you have the number 91 of Brett Ledenhoff. Oh, no, the 37 really loose. Almost got spun out. Hangs on to it. That is Ethan Moore in the 37.
Well, that's going on. We have a pass for the lead. finally get into the inside as Everhard. He's going to be first across the line. I think he's going to be able to finish the job going into corner number 1. Move Daniel Everhard back up into first. Andrew Payne back to second. Farnyars, Washington, and Jones looking on.
Eberhard just needed that right run coming off the corner exit to get side by side down the straightaway and be able to complete the pass on Andrew Payne. So that's going to throw Eberhard up towards the front at the moment. Andrew Payne currently in second, like you said there, Sue.
Again, though, you don't want to use up too much stuff too early. He's still got 23 more laps to go before he can cash in his success during the second stint here.
I tell you what, ever since Eberhard got the race lead, he has kind of pulled away a little bit from these cats. Barnyard's pushing a little pressure now on Andrew Payne for position. These drivers are just nose to tail from second all the way to 5th place.
Looking at the way things are going, I would say that Payne's car is going away from him as there goes Farnyars into second. And as that pass is made, you can see the leader starting to pull away. We'll see if Farnyars can run him down. Let's go back to 6th because this guy continues to race with the bit between his teeth. And I'm talking about Richard Regan. My goodness. The car is not feeling good. He puts it in the wall once, puts it in the wall twice, but he's able to stay in the preferred line, and Ethan Moore has nowhere to go. In fact, Moore loses all of his momentum, and that's going to let Laidhoff take the spot.
Yeah, Laidhoff's taking the opportunity to get by the 37, and looks like, Moore thought about going towards the inside for a crossover move. Does not work. But I tell you what, Richard Regan kind of reminded me about the old Dale Earnhardt days. You're on old tires, you're beating and banging, and you're still making it work.
Out there covering the outside like synthetic lawn. There is just nowhere for these guys to go. Look at Laidhoff with a rider run trying to get it to work. Then you can see the leaders. That's a great shot. You can see the leaders up ahead as they go right over our gopher camp.
The only driver I'm seeing that has been able to try to compete with Eberhard today has been Andrew Farnyars in the 88. Andrew Payne right now is feeling a little pressure from the 98 of David Washington. It's actually a Ford, but that's kind of reminds me of the Coors Light Sterling Marlin paint scheme.
Love that camera shot right there. You can see the whole story play out in front of you. And there's finally the pass. As Laidhoff gets it. Boy, he gets loose, though. That Skoll machine gets loose right in front of the 46. Tanner, they are working. These cars are really unfriendly looking out there. They are squirrely. Again, in the wall one more time from Regan.
Oh, man, I tell you what, if any of these drivers have any experience driving dirt in real life or on iRacing, it has certainly have been paying off here today indeed. Because these cars are all over the place. The only difference is you're handling a 3,400-pound race car with tons of horsepower.
Payne loses another spot to Washington now, falling back to 4th. And he's going to on the outside with a run is Dylan Jones. I'd say that Andrew Payne used up his stuff. The gap now 1.8 seconds from Payne back to Laidhoff. Did Laidhoff use up his stuff having to work to get around Regan? We'll find out.
Oh, Payne! Oh, man, almost wrecked it.
Well, that's one way to lose your gap.
Man, he wrecked it. He just didn't spin out. He almost spun out. Oh, boy.
As they come at you, I can report that it's deja vu all over again as Daniel Eberhard is being ran down by Andrew Farnyars late in the run.
Previous laps tells the story 0.2 of a second between the top two drivers, Farnyars and Eberhard, with Farnyars running a 32.8 compared to a 34.8. This time by, ooh. Tell you what, Farnyars is still running 0.2 of a second faster than Eberhard.
They're coming up on the back of the detective, Ellery Queen, racing in 21st position. 13 laps down.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that kind of reminds me of the old Dale Earnhardt paint scheme. The old Wrangler car.
Blue and yellow.
Yep.
Here they come. Queen of veteran of the series will know how to get out of the way and let these guys go by. We did not see much of a fight from Eberhard the last time.
What happened to Andrew Payne? Because he's lost.
Oh, he put the car in the wall. My goodness, the car got right in front of Laidhoff. My gosh. Brett did a great job of avoiding him. Talk about a car going. Look at that recovery.
They made contact, but I don't think that would be Brett's fault there. It just looked like Payne when he got into the wall. That car kind of stuck there like a magnet. And Brett Leidenhoff, man, he just came up so quick. He just scrubbed the left side of him.
Brett may have actually helped him and turned him, straightened him out a bit.
It did. That's exactly what happened.
Meanwhile, our leader just put the car in the wall again. Uh-oh. And it is Alan Elwood. The 42. You know what? It really wasn't Elwood's fault. Ethan Moore gets loose right in front of him.
Oh.
And Elwood had nowhere to put that machine.
Ethan Moore's day just went from bad to worse.
Boy, to watch these, look at this. Down into the wall. To watch these cars go away from these drivers, it's remarkable. Andrew Payne out in front, comfortable, leading the way until the car goes totally south on him. He's now back in ninth.
I think when that action happened on the racetrack, we did have a lead change. Farnyards is now the race leader. Eberhardt's coming down pit road right now.
Now, what is this all about? Did he put it in the wall and he's not happy with the car? Or is this close enough to the end of this stint that he'll just come in and get fresh tires and maybe not pit the next time around? I'm not sure really the point of that.
Well, right now we got 11 laps to go until the end of stage 2. So we should see the green flag come back out around 7 laps to go. 7 to 8 laps to go before that end of stage 2. I don't know if that's going to be enough time to get towards the front just because it is so hard to pass here and track position means everything. Seeing Richard Reagan beating Eberhard off of pit road. Both drivers are on the lead lap.
Well, Regan gave it a good run, but it didn't work out for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't stay out there again. This is his pit stop, and we'll see him at the front. In the one battle we were looking at that really mattered in the point standings, William Locklear right now sitting in 8th in position to pick up a few stage points here and open up the gap a little bit farther on his rival.
That's not a good thing for Jesse Abraham because that just means he's going to have to work twice as hard. And if he, he's already working twice as hard right there with the handle of the car, but he's really going to have to work now.
Jesse Abraham taking a pit stop, so he's going to come out in 17th. Be not enough time for him to pick up stage points, but maybe he'll stay out there, get some track position when it's time to go racing next time. Also coming in, Andrew Payne is going to bring the car in.
That's probably a good idea right there to get some tires, fix up as much damage as possible. I mean, he's got a good car to hang up towards the front. It's just that it goes away on him.
You're watching the Global Sim Racing channel. This is the AdPro 360 Cup Series. The final race in the regular season before we go to the playoffs.
Those playoffs are going to take place at Indianapolis Motor Speedway a week from now. What a historic racetrack that is, Indianapolis.
And unlike this place that has two very different ends of the track, Indianapolis pretty much uniformed, although the drivers tell me that each corner races a little bit different. Andrew Fairnays is our leader. He won the first stint. He's out there in front right now looking to pick up some more. Go ahead, Tanner.
Yeah, I was just going to say, got the 1-to-go signal this time by, so that just means we're going to have the green flag with 8 laps remaining. Andrew Farnyards, Dylan Jones, David Washington, Brett Ledenhoff, and Luis Salmaso, the top 5. So we have some new players within that top 5 who have been running the top 10 tonight. A driver we have not talked about here this evening, as make his presence known in the top 10, is Gary Sexton, number 2. So let's see what Sexton can do in these final laps of stage 2 here. Soup.
Remember, Sal Masso is the fly in the ointment. Assuming that he is eligible to be in the playoffs, we're not quite sure about that one, but if he were to get the win from outside of the top 12, he could move drivers down a bit. All right, time to go racing here. Working lap number 63 as they come across the line. Oh my goodness, what a horrible start from David Washington. And again, they're going to be going by him. Stuck behind him is the number 2. Gary Sexton had nowhere to go.
Actually, yeah, that was actually a tire spin from Dylan Jones that cost David Washington a number of positions on that restart.
Barnyard's well out in front. Jones, Laidhoff, Salmaso, and William Locklear up into 5th. How about that one?
Wasn't he involved in that first accident with the heavy nose damage? And look at that nose, and he's running the top 5. I might spoke too soon because here comes Washington. Washington gets underneath William Locklear. Successful pass for the 5th spot. No competition for Andrew Farnyards. Dylan Jones has about 1.1 seconds there between the gap between the top 2 drivers. Brett Ledenhoff, the highest he's been all race long here this evening, has seen the wall a couple of times. And that's Skoll Chevrolet running very nicely out there in 3rd. And then you got Luis Salmaso in the 4th spot. Like you said, Soup, he might be the sneaky guy.
Looking at the one thing that we can use to see if they're actually eligible to race or not is the banner on the windshield. Can't really tell much there from Luis. If he's racing for points or not.
Oh, man. Oh, there's William Locklear's in trouble. He's dropped a number of positions just in like 2 laps. He's backed up now to 8th place. And there was some contact back there between Ryan Hill and Richard Regan Jr. No harm, no foul.
They come around working lap number 67 now. Barnyards is going to end the regular season. It looks like the way that he has run it all season long in a dominant fashion. Dylan Jones, Laidhoff in 3rd. Salmaso and Washington.
A little bit of an update on Daniel Eberhardt, who just got into the wall in turns 3 and 4, but he looks like he's okay. He's made himself known back up into the 6th place with 4 fresh tires, but I don't think it's going to be, obviously it's not going to be enough for a stage win. We got 3 laps to go until that comes up.
Ryan Hill makes it around Richard Regan, moving up into 9th. Regan now in 10th, holding on to that final points-paying position here in the stint. All the fighting that was going on early now has calmed down as the drivers are many car lengths apart. Regan in the wall again, the number 4 of William Locklear loses lots of positions. He now falls back down into 11th.
Well, this is certainly good news for Jesse Abraham because he's not Locklear's not in the top 10 to receive those bonus points at the end of the stage. Because we do have the white flag right now for Andrew Farnyars for the end of stage 2. He's coming off turn 2 right now.
Working lap number 70. Looking to add a few more playoff points. Going into the playoffs, so don't think he's going to need them to get to the round of 8. He'll need to pick up some when he gets to the playoffs, though. But right now, the number 88 picks up another stage win. Jones, Laidhoff, Salamasso, and Washington, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Eberhardt, Sexton, Hill, Regan, and Wood round out your points-paying position. No points for Locklear, 11th. No points for Jesse Abraham, 12th. So we'll stay here a bit more and stay with you until we get to the pit stops.
This is gonna be a critical pit stop right here because we have seen some pretty good green flag racing all the way around. So no more end of the stage. We race to the end till we get to lap 150 right now. So 4 tires is going to be in order for a majority of these drivers. Eberhard might take 2 tires, but
Eberhard came in just 12 laps ago. Richard Regan also doing some interesting strategy today. He was on a 12-lap stint as well. He may come in maybe just for 2. Here they come.
I don't remember, too, Richard Regan, he kind of made that work just a little bit to stay out front a little bit, but it actually took a number of laps for drivers to actually get around him. He just lost a position, probably maybe like a position each lap. But right now, we'll see what happens. I assume every driver will probably take 4 tires. 4 tires will probably be a good idea right here.
They pull into their stalls. Everything seems to go well. I can report Richard Regan overshot his stall, so any strategy he was having of getting out quickly not going to work. There's a quick one from Dylan Jones.
Dylan Jones wins the race off of pit road with a 4-tire pit stop. A little bit faster pit stop than Andrew Farnyars. So that's going to give Dylan Jones the top spot.
We have not seen Dylan up in front for a while, so with him established up in the lead, what we'll do right now is take a short break. We'll be back on the Global Sim Racing channel before they go green. You're watching the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the AdPro 360 Cup Challenge here at Darlington. This is round number 17, the final regular season race before the playoffs. Bill Soup's on, Tanner Sharp with you, Joe Peak in the director's chair. Dylan Jones, your leader. Car number 16 has chosen the inside line as we're about ready to go back to green to start our final stint. This one will be, well, it's scheduled for 80, but of course there are some yellow flag laps, so it's going to be 75 laps. Basically, it's the last half of the race of the 150 that are scheduled.
Here we go. Dylan Jones ran a loud pedal. He became the new leader after beating Farnyards off of pit road. He's now out front working with the clean air. Farnyards currently in second, but the battle's on point between third and fourth place, side by side as they enter the corner.
And now your lead commentator is back up to speed. Dylan Jones working the back half of the track. Andrew Farnyards. Salamoso racing in third. He's having a good run. Also, the 044, a beautiful Hudson Hornet.
Oh man, we got two battles going on here. Eberhard tried getting underneath the Samaso. Meanwhile, Washington tried getting underneath Leyenhoff for position. That's all battle for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Single file racing now pretty much. Great camera shot. You can see the whole field. Now they're coming at you. I'm going to go on board with Leyenhoff. He races in fifth, looking up at Eberhard. Daniel, very strong early.
Yeah, Daniel's trying to come back after making a pit stop under one of the caution flags prior to the end of stage 2. So he's trying to fight his way back up. He is the pole sitter, or was the pole sitter of this evening's festivities.
As you can see from this one, you see way up in front there, that is Dylan Jones. You almost got to worry that Dylan is going a little too fast right now. Might not have enough at the end.
Oh, Washington tried getting underneath Leyenhoff on entrance to the corner. That car kind of just took a snap around, and he had to back out of trying to go for that position. Lost a little momentum to Leyenhoff. Looks like he may have gotten too hard onto the brakes.
Of course, that William Locklear was racing in 10th position. He just lost 2 spots to Ryan Hill and Richard Regan. Locklear back to 11th.
I wonder where Jesse Abraham is at. He's 15th.
In 15th, yes. So things are looking good for Locklear right now. "17 cars still on the lead lap. 17 cars still out there racing. Some of the names that have left this heat: some more: Alan Elwood, Ellery Queen, Judd Danielson, Daniel Jackson, Josh Bonwell, and Norman Baird.
Well, that was it. Oh, we got a battle for position 3 here.
This is Luis Salmoso. Salmoso having a good run.
Is it me, or are they starting to hunt down Farnyards a little bit? Oh, there goes Eberhard right now. He's just going to go by Salmaso. Salmaso looks like he's going to give it to him.
This might be a case of the tortoise and the hare with Farnyards just saving his stuff. There will be a pit stop. There's not enough fuel to get the entire 150 laps. Or 75 laps of this final stint. And you wouldn't want to even if you could, because the tires are going to go away. You're going to be too slow.
And if we do see those green flag pit stops there, Sue, you gotta try not to beat yourself on pit road. This is a very easy pit road to overshoot and totally miss, to where you're going to be going about, I don't know, maybe like 60 miles an hour trying to hit pit road down there, and all of a sudden you miss it. Then you got to go all the way around.
Don't need to go there. I'm just going to give you the interval from the leader back to second. 1.2 seconds. And it's beginning to drop a little bit. Yeah, our director's on the best battle on the track. That numbered silver, the silver bullet there, the number 98 of David Washington. Looking to get around laid off.
Yeah, he's been trying to work on laid off for how long now? Ever since the drop of the green to the final stage. He's just been trying to get around him, and he can't do it. He tried a couple of times, but every time he tried, he just got loose.
Oh, Locklear.
No!
With Gabriel Wood, the 00 machine. This one started with Locklear putting it in the wall and coming bouncing right back down into the double aught.
Oh, Locklear took a heavy-duty hit to the outside.
And Santa is going to be making an August visit to the house of Jesse Abraham, as Locklear is really going to have to work now to not lose enough points to lose that final playoff spot.
Had some pretty significant damage on William Locklear's car because he really pounded that outside wall. And then when he hit that wall, the car just darted to the left right into the 00 of Gabriel Wood.
Okay, for whatever reason, Daniel Eberhardt has decided to pit from third spot, taking the road less traveled.
Could be track position for later, Soup.
Come in now, and then when everybody makes their stop, he comes in again, and he'll be faster in and out, maybe.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to pull up the calculator. I don't think you're gonna be able to make it to the end from here, not just yet, unless you're gonna save enough fuel.
He takes 4 tires. He's also in no hurry to come out.
Fix a little damage from maybe getting a Darlington stripe.
Getting some damage fixed up on the right side of the car.
And that was a 35-second pit stop for Daniel Eberhardt.
No one will remember this, but in the early days of iRacing, when they first came out with the stock car, there was a in the garage they had a button you could check to put a 2x4 on the right side of your car. They've taken that away now, but something that the drivers used to do here at Darlington to keep the right side of the car looking healthy. Oh, my director's asking me if I'm telling tall tales. It's true about the 2x4. It's not true about the iRacing box you could check for it, yes.
Where would that put Eberhardt now? That's going to put him 14th, I'm reading.
14th, and that's a considerable amount of points. Locklear's worst position, the good news is that he's going to finish no worse than 17th. So you start to try to do a little bit of the math. That means that
I can confirm that Eberhardt is saving fuel aggressively here.
Aha.
He's clutching it.
He's back in the back. He doesn't need to race. He'll just sit back there. All he needs to do is go fast enough that when the drivers come in for their stops, he can come all the way around. The strategy would work best if we go green all the way and he's able to go the distance.
Yeah, but let's just say if we go about halfway to the end right here, caution comes out, that strategy's kind of practically thrown out the window because everybody's going to come down and get 4 tires. That would mean he's going to be forced to come get tires.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, when we go green, we're going to be working lap number 90. That'll mean there'll be 60 laps of racing to go. 60 laps of regular season left before playoff time. If you like what you're seeing, make sure you check in and watch the other series as well. The AdPro Challenge Series. What would that be? What are they now? It's not the Infinity cars. What are those B cars called? They are the
Xfinity cars.
They are the Xfinity cars as our pace car pulls in. And then, of course, the truck series as well that we're covering here. But right now, all of our attention is going to be on Dylan Jones, car number 16. You can hear the engine start to roar. He gets a good jump. Andrew Farnyars has been saving his stuff, letting Jones run away with him for a while.
Oh, man, I tell you what, this is probably every time. Oh, big wreck down turn 1, 2. Sexton's involved.
It started with the number 2 machine getting in the wall. And then Gary Sexton after that, all heck broke loose behind him.
Oh, man, Sexton actually got into the wall. Then he got a bumper tag from the 46 of Richard Regan. And
poor Luis Salmasa. Salmasa was well out in front of it, and then Gary got turned down into him, clipped him, and Salmasa goes into the wall.
Oh, man, do we have an onboard of Andrew Payne, black car? Yeah, this would be pretty cool to watch.
Look at Payne. Where'd you go? Oh. Go all the way down here.
But I tell you what, yeah, the closest action, though, it didn't catch it on camera, but Richard Regan just missed clipping that right rear quarter panel of Andrew Payne.
Jesse Abraham not involved in that incident. Now sitting in 9th.
This is the highest Abraham's been all race long. Abraham's just kind of been minding his P's and Q's in the back of the pack, remaining on the lead lap. He's got some dents in that number 97, but although it's looking a lot better than William Locklear, who was actually 1 lap down. I do believe he just got a signal saying, hey, man, you're the lucky dog.
Look at that. He's going to bring it back out and go around. Nice job from Locklear.
For the 2nd time today.
Back on the lead lap. He knows what's at stake.
And, of course, this is bad news for Jesse Abraham because Locklear, he actually was in the top 5 at one point.
The interval between those drivers, 7 positions. That's not enough for Abraham. Kyle Barnes doing a little bit of working out there, telling people what's going on. Ray Stewart's doing a good job tonight. Pace car, the lights stay on as it comes across the line, working lap number 93. We'll go around one more time, and then they'll turn it off, and we'll get green. Tanner, there were no takers, at least of the big names, for pit stops.
No, there wasn't. Looking at the intervals here right now, Kyle Kammer is going to be the freshest guy on tires. He's going to be in 8th place upcoming on this restart. Daniel Eberhardt, who remained on pit road, you got to remember, he's back there in 10th spot. So just wondering if tires is going to be the key here for these guys who stayed out, such as Ryan Hill, Andrew Payne, Richard Regan. And we haven't seen Ryan Hill up towards the front like we usually would see running in the top 5. He's currently running in the 7th position. Usually all the fast guys have been up towards the front, like Dylan Jones, Andrew Farnyars, David Washington. How about Brett Ladenhoff? I mean, he's been up and down the leaderboard in the top 10 all race long, has battled hard with David Washington. Washington could not get around him, and Ladenhoff's going to restart in 3rd place on this upcoming restart.
I don't know about you viewers at home, but I'm ready for a nice green flag run to the finish. No more breaks for us here at GSRC. Let's get these laps in. Let's get an exciting finish. I think all the viewers would agree. I think Dylan Jones would agree with that one.
Yeah.
I think one driver that would definitely like to see that is Daniel Eberhard. Remember, he's planning to go the distance, racing back in 10th in that car number 90. We don't think he's coming in for another stop.
And on top of that, I know one race fan green flag pit stops, and that's me, because I want to know who's going to have a miscue entering towards pit road and who is not, because I just know from experience Darlington is a very tough pit road to get onto.
Dylan Jones has decided on the low line in his Chef Andy machine. Interesting, we've seen a lot of drivers choose the top side. Going to leave that for Andrew Farnyards.
Sure, if you notice in that last restart, Soup, that between the top two drivers was the closest they've ever been on a restart all race long. So let's see if Jones can get a bigger jump than what Farnyards can.
Jones waiting. Gets a good jump. Farnyards a little slow to the throttle. Jones should be able to get into corner number 1 comfortably. With that said, Farnyards really runs it in there deep.
Ooh. Oh, man, Washington, I think he may have hit the wall just a little bit because he had to check up. Farnyards had a little bit of an early brake entrance into turn 1. Here comes...
And look at the car on the low line. That is Daniel Eberhard down low. My goodness.
Oh, man, he's shown, hey, man, I got to get to the front.
Laidhoff and Regan both lost, or Laidhoff and the 46 of Regan both lost momentum, and Eberhard went down there and took that spot.
And Eberhard ain't giving up, because now he's on the left rear quarter panel of Andrew Payne down the back straightaway. A car back there did hit the wall. I just missed it. But nonetheless, Eberhard got 3rd place away, or 4th place, excuse me.
He's up to 4th, and he's got more on his mind.
Gotta remember.
It's David Washington.
Eberhard's got those 4 fresh tires.
About 12 laps fresher than the rest of these guys. The problem is, if we have his strategy right, it's the tires he wants to use to the end of the race. Although maybe now if he finds himself up in 3rd, maybe he can throw that strategy out and just go back to a normal run.
He's had a lot of caution laps and he's been clutching it. Caution is out.
Sexton around right in front of Jesse Abraham.
Oh, man, Abraham gets lucky again.
Abraham might have got a little piece of Sexton. Sexton may have put it in the wall, came down into Abraham. Abraham may have got up into him.
Oh, yeah, there looked like there was contact.
Go ahead and look on board Abraham. Remember, Abraham's racing for a playoff spot. Sexton's comfortably in his playoff position.
I don't know how to determine it. I don't know if there was a direct contact. Could it be a slight net code, maybe? Maybe not. Man, Abraham almost got collected really big time into that.
Now remember, there are race stewards here, and they can move drivers to the back. If they so deem that to be the case, then go ahead, Tanner.
Yeah, and that is certainly the case for Jesse Abraham. You know, he's running in the top 10. He's head of William Locklear. That's what he wants to do, but he is getting told he has to start from the tail end of the longest line for being the involvement of that cause of the caution.
Barnyards pits. Dylan Jones pits. Your 2 leaders.
Eberhard and Payne up 1-2 right now.
So we have...
Yeah, Eberhard, he's got the fresher tires than what Andrew Payne has. Brett Leidenhoff, the first driver that has the equally matched tires of Eberhard, is sitting in 4th place right now with a beat-up number 8 machine, and that is Kyle Cameron.
Multiple strategies being employed. Barnyards, McFadden, Washington, all coming in for stops. Dylan Jones as well. Drivers out there for about 8 laps. How about names like Stanford, Campbell, Locklear, Sexton, Sexton. And then you got the guys who've been running for a while. Eberhard, Payne, Laidhoff, Kammer, and Regan. Throw Ryan Hill into that group. 3 different sets of strategies.
Well, the strategy is still going hard for Daniel Eberhardt. So this is actually, I did mention earlier that a caution flag would kind of ruin the strategy. That's not the case right here, right now, because he's up towards the front, and he wants to try to keep that track position. So he's going to stay up towards the front here. And I do believe the first guy on the freshest tires under this caution flag is going to be Dylan Jones in the 11th position.
Watch Jones and Farnhars cut through the field.
Those two drivers will definitely be slicing and dicing up through the field.
We're going to stay here with you. We're not going to go to break on this yellow. If we have another one, we will. Daniel Eberhard, your leader. We think he can go the distance. We think he's planning to go the distance.
I wonder if he's clutching it still.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the fuel is going to be as much an issue for him now with all these yellows as the rubber around the rims.
Yeah, I'm only seeing he's only run 2,900 RPM, kind of going back and forth. Actually, right now I think he had it in lower gear, so right now he should be in second gear.
Doing some downshifting, saving fuel. William Locklear races in 10th position. His rival for that final podium spot, Jesse Abraham, having to serve a penalty back in 16th. Things are looking better for William the Jet Locklear. Pace car pulls in, turns over control of the race to the number 90. Daniel Eberhard, and he gets a good jump. He's out in front, but his tires are old.
And what a great start as well for Kyle Kammer in the number 8 car. He's trying to take second place away from the number 93 of Andrew Payne. Looks like Kammer's got the preferred line in the middle of the corner. He's being followed by Ryan Hill in the 55. Contact between Payne and Hill.
Not surprised to see that going on. Dylan Jones back in 13th position, but coming. Farnhars up to 10th.
And coming.
Just ahead of the car you're looking at, you can see the blue car. There's the Dodger Blumen 88 of Andrew Farnhars. Now in 9th. Gerald Campbell and Andrew Payne next on his hit list.
There's a driver who has a relatively clean race car. Looks like an old Mark Martin paint scheme, and has the number 19 of Eric Stanford going underneath the 46 machine for the top 5 spot of Richard Regan Jr. Go Eric. He has been quiet all race long. Haven't talked too much about him, and he has a relatively clean race car.
Hard for me not to imagine the 6 slapped on that machine there as Eric Stanford racing down and getting into the wall as Regan. Farnhars goes around him.
And everybody takes a base of action there. 3 wide, enter turn 3 back there with Gerald Campbell on the apron of the racetrack.
Locklear goes through. Andrew Payne is shoved up into the wall. He falls back to 13th.
How did they not wreck, man? Holy moly.
This is some big boy racing right now. Daniel Eberhard's opened up a 2.6 second lead over the Kyle Kammer.
Oh, contact. Oh, William Locklear back there. He wheel hop. How do you wheel hop that? Oh my goodness. The nose got in the air as he made contact with David Washington, who bounced off the outside wall of turn number 2. He collected some air like he wheel hopped it of a road course, and I promise you, Darlington does not have a road course.
He keeps the car going straight, but he's falling back from a...
Oh, trouble! Gary Sexton around!
Got a little bit of a... Oh, man, it was Abraham again.
Caution.
Want to make sure I'm looking at the right replay and it's not last time. Nope. These two guys are getting to know each other. Just a word of advice to Jesse Abraham. If you're going to consistently bump somebody, try it not to be the man who is the series organizer. Just telling you.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing there, Soup. I'm kind of stuttering here.
Gary Sexton things have been going rough for him as the number 2 is in and the car is smoking. I think Gary's day is done. This is going to be the opportunity where GSRC is going to take a short break, but don't go far. We'll be back before they go green to get you all the way to the checker flag. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing channel and its coverage of the AdPro 360 Cup Series. We have a couple storylines to talk about. You members of the Daniel Everhard and Kyle Kammer fan clubs, don't get too excited as they lead right now, but they are on old tires and some big names with fresh rubber are close behind. And then to follow up on a story, we talked about it in the pre-race show. If you're involved in two incidents, you get disqualified, and you might be thinking that Jesse Abraham might be in that situation, but race control came across and said, nope, that last incident with that involved Gary Sexton was a result of net code, so Abraham is safe and he's still out there racing. Not out there on the track is the pace car that just pulls off. Everhard gets a good jump from the top side. We think he has enough fuel. We don't think he has the tires to stay out in front. Kyle Kammer on the same strategy in the 8, races in second. But watch out for the 88 of Andrew Farnyards. He's right behind, and he's going to make short work of Kyle Kammer.
Yes, he is, Soup. He is right now working on that second place. Right now, should be no competition between the tires of Farnyards and Kammer for the second spot. Looks like Kammer is still hanging on, making slight contact, trading paint. Oh, there's an accident on the front stretch.
Oh, it's the 55 of Ryan Hill and Eric Stanford get together. Do we stay? Nope, the yellow comes out.
Yep, and I do believe I have cursed the number 19 of Eric Stanford. I'm sorry, Eric. You were having a great clean race out there with minimal damage, and that just turned into significant damage.
Yeah, Stanford almost got into the back of David Washington. He checked up, lost his momentum, then he started to turn in, and the two cars got together. So we go back to yellow. And I guess this is good news for Daniel Eberhard.
It is a little bit, but I'd still be worried of that number 88 and 16. But here's the kicker. On the restart, he chose the outside line. On this upcoming restart, Kyle Kammer's going to be in second. So if Eberhard decides to choose the higher line, that's going to pin Kyle Kammer on the bottom along with Farnyars.
Interesting. And Farnyars in third will have no choice where he goes. He goes onto the inside of row 2 no matter what. So Eberhard, I would think, take that top line. And his best friend right now of this strategy is the number 8 of Kyle the Hammer Kammer.
It most definitely is. But what Eberhard is hoping for on his upcoming restart is for that 88 and the 16. Dylan Jones is in 4th place, and he will line up behind Eberhard should Eberhard elect the outside row. And if that's the case, he could see Jones and Farnyars race side by side as they head down to turn number 1, depending upon how good of a restart Kyle Kammer gets.
Tanner, we know how good fresh tires are, but my question to you is, does that difference start to wear off here with Eberhard on 27-lap-old tires and on Farnyars on 16-lap-old tires? Yes, they're newer, but I don't know how to phrase this. Are they as new as they were when they were brand new?
Well, the thing is, Andrew Farnyar's tires is going to be a lot more fresher because we've had enough caution laps where the tires have cooled down a little bit. So once the tires cool down just a little bit, you can provide that extra grip to try to get up towards the front. So we've seen a number of caution laps in the last, 12 laps now. So that's enough laps to really cool down the tires because you're only pacing around here about between 60 to 65 miles an hour.
We are working lap number 114. When they come across the line this time, there will be 36 laps to go. We'll watch to see if the lights come off as the pace car crosses the start-finish line. And they do not, so we'll go around one more time. Again, good news for Eberhard. With all this yellow, if fuel was an issue, he's got to be feeling safe now. Let's take this opportunity, maybe somebody else who just came in for fresh tires, maybe somebody to remember. How about Andrew Payne? He's been fast. He's got some good stuff. Now Payne back there racing in 10th. There have been so many incidents, it's hard to tell if the car is still healthy, but tires are good.
Yeah, the tires are good. It's just that these caution flags realistically is going to hurt Andrew Payne the more we get cautions. He needs this thing to go green flag to pick up track position and get the best finish possible. Now, on the downside for Daniel Eberhard is if we remain green to the end, he really has to worry about the 88 because the 88 and the 16 will be gunning for him. I don't believe Kyle Kammer is going to be able to hold off Farnyars, but there's different strategies going on. You got back there, you got Payne on a fresh tire strategy. Kyle Kammer's on the same strategy as Eberhard. And then you got Andrew Farnyars and Dylan Jones who are on the same strategy, who pitted about 12 laps earlier than Eberhard and Kammer. So it's a mixed bag right now, but this upcoming restart right now is going to determine to see what's going to happen should we go green.
And we can't forget one of the key rules, one of the key aspects, one of the key dynamics of this series is the tire limit rule. Remember, we talked about it in the pre-race show. They start with one set of tires on their car. They have 16 left, 4 sets, but they can use them however they want. In theory, you could put 16 right front tires on your car if that's how you wanted to play it. But you have to think that these guys at this point are out of tires. I just can't think that anyone would be saving anything. So they probably have what they have right now.
Yeah, I'd say Andrew Payne's out of tires. I'd say Dylan Jones, Farnyars, and Kyle Kammer, I think they have another set down pit road because they've only visited pit road 3 times so far in this entire race.
You figure they made one change before the second stage, one change before the first stage, so maybe one change here and maybe one set left. Pace car is in. Daniel Eberhard on the outside. Remember, he has Farnyar's pinned to the inside behind Cameron. Oh, the top two pretty much race in unison. Cialis bathtubs now into corner number 1. Nowhere for Farnyar's to put the car. And look at that. Sure enough, Dylan Jones, that's Farnyar's biggest rival, had a clear space. He was able to run around the top side. He moves into second.
Yeah, that was good strategy on Daniel Eberhard's part, but right now he's got the problem of Dylan Jones in his rearview mirror, who's on the same strategy as Andrew Farnyar's. Now it's up to Eberhard to try to, hold Dylan Jones back there as much as he can. Don't want to give it up like you did earlier with Farnyar's.
And the 8 of Cammer is getting hammered by the rest of the field as they go around him top and bottom. Oh my goodness, watch out for a Jesse Abraham. He was stuck behind. He loops the car.
Caution.
Everybody avoids him. Gabriel Wood goes by him.
That was a double.
McFadden got there right before Wood. Oh my gosh, what a great racing job by Mark McFadden.
Wow.
Now, this all started because, look at the car way down low. You think to yourself, oh my goodness, now it starts to come up on you. Oh.
Holy, wow. I mean, Mark McFadden is driving the Tony the Tiger on the hood, the old style of Tony the Tiger, man, and he almost really broke the cereal box.
Well, this driving, I have to say, it's great because he's still out there racing. That all started from Kyle Cameron losing momentum and they're checking up behind him. How about my partner, Tanner Sharp, talking about the starting position of Farnyar's being stuck in third, and sure enough, he got pinned, and that allowed Dylan Jones to roll by. Now, with that said, am I seeing a pit stop? Yep, Daniel Eberhard coming in.
Yeah, I think he kind of knew that, man, I'm not going to be able to hold off Jones and Farnyar's. I might as well take this opportunity, make my final pit stop of the race, put some 4 fresh stickers on it, and get back on out there.
Well, he's been saving them, and the right sides go up, and the left sides go up. So sure enough.
It may have been a wise move, Sue, because if he decided to stay out, he would have to pin Jones on the bottom side along with Farnyar's, and both those drivers are on the same strategy and fresher tires. It just would not be a really wise move unless you want to stay with the track position and run in third. But right now he's going to come down and get 4 fresh stickers. And
just taking the fun factor into account.
Yep.
To be back there with 4 fresh tires and about 29 laps of racing to go, and a car that feels pretty good.
Might be a little difficult too, Sue, because you got to remember, he's got a bunch of drivers who just pitted under the last caution. So drivers like Andrew Payne, Ryan Hill, Richard Regan, David Washington, Eric Stanford, Mark McFadden pitted this last caution, not under this caution, but the caution previous to this. And we didn't really have a lot of green flag racing, so interesting strategy.
Jones and Farnyar's out there on what we're going to call substantially old tires on a 22-lap stint. Now, right behind them, Fred Ladehoff, he sits in third. His tires are about 12 laps old. And remember, a lot of this is under yellow, so basically they're still pretty fresh. Then you get to the drivers that Tanner just talked about, Payne, Hill, Reagan, Washington. They're all about 7 laps. Again, pretty much brand new. And then the man to watch, Daniel Eberhard. He's been racing up front for most of the race, and we've seen him race pretty darn aggressive from the back, and he's only starting 12 cars back.
Well, you can really toss the fuel strategy out the window. This has now turned into a tire strategy to really try to gain that track position.
In our battle for the final playoff spot, Jesse Abraham does lead William Locklear, but only by 1 position. Abraham in 14th, Locklear in 15th.
1 to go signal this time by. They just passed the 29 to go at the start-finish line. So next time by, there'll be 28 laps remaining. It's going to be a very wild 28 laps here at Darlington, as we already seen a very wild race here this evening. It's going to be Dylan Jones on the top spot, Andrew Farnyards in second. In third place, you're going to have Brett Ladenhoff. Fourth place, Andrew Payne. And rounding up the top 5, Ryan Hill. Ryan Hill in the top 5. We haven't seen him in the top 5 really here this evening. Good to see Ryan up towards the front.
When GSRC asked me to fill in for Sean Crackers Ambrose, who's the regular lead commentator on this series, I said, that's fine. If you can promise me one thing, can we finish under green? I don't want a green-white checker. I don't know how to deal with those. I was promised that we will finish under green, so don't make my bosses a liar here. Let's see if we can get this thing. 28 laps of racing to go when we come across the line. Oh, now they're starting to hedge there. Now they're starting to change their story about the promise that was made to the commentator. Well, that's okay. I feel confident we're going to get a green flag finish. Dylan Jones gets the jump as he's going to lead him across the line. His biggest rival, Andrew Farnyards, right behind him. They're fast, but their tires are older.
And the biggest rival for Farnyards is that big old number 93 in the rearview mirror of Farnyards, because he's got much fresher tires than the 88. He's fast. He's fear. Oh, big accident.
Eric Safford gets into it with
Eberhard.
the 48. Yep, and it was Eberhard involved in that one too. Eberhard gets clipped and he puts it down on the inside wall. Watch the blue 90 there. This took out about 5 drivers. Looked like Eberhard was caused the problem.
Actually,
bump from Eberhard into the 91.
I think the 19 was actually sideways just before the bump happened. Because if you really look, he had the left front on the apron of the track, which kind of snapped the car around just a little bit.
And Eberhard is not in the sim anymore. And let me correct myself. I identified it as the 91. It was the 19. I looked at it when it was spinning backwards on the track.
Well, we got pit stops brewing up here, Soup. Our race leader, Dylan Jones, is down pit road, but I do believe Andrew Farnyards has stayed out.
Jones comes in. Apparently, he has tires to spare.
He does. I believe Farnyards and Ladenhoff are the 2 drivers that have tires left.
William Locklear involved in that incident. Car number 4 sitting in pit lane, much shorter than when it started the race. Just coming out of pit lane, Jesse Abraham.
Abraham doesn't have enough positions right now to get ahead of Locklear for that final playoff spot.
He's going to need to be very fast or hope that the cars in front of him run into trouble.
He just doesn't want to be the trouble.
Locklear will be hard pressed. Locklear's bringing the car out. I am going to make the playoffs. Gosh darn it. The number 4 going to come on out. He's still on the lead lap.
Yes, he is. I'm going to make the playoffs even though I look like an SK modified. I'm still going to make the playoffs.
All this going behind our leader, Andrew Farnyards. Yes, he's been out there for a long time, but so much of it has been under yellow. His tires are probably better than the 27 laps that show up on timing and scoring would indicate. Nevertheless, Andrew Payne has been fast, yet squirrely. The 93, he's had his handfuls.
I have an interesting question for you, Soup. Now, Daniel Eberhard, prior to this caution, came down to get 4 fresh tires and tried to gain some track position using those tires. But unfortunately, he got caught up in an incident. And we've seen most of our cautions happen within this top 10 group from probably 7, 6, 7 on back. Now, Dylan Jones is back in 9th place. Will he fall the same victim as Daniel Eberhard did?
Well, that's the risk you take. But if he does get lucky, he has the pace to get up there and race with those guys. And he has time to do it.
Yes, he does. And on top of that, I think he has one of the cleanest cars out there right now. I'm not seeing too much of a scratch on that number 16 of Dylan Jones. So this is a pretty interesting strategy call, but if he can get through unscathed, he will be a factor before that checkered flag falls.
Jones starting in 9th. Fresh tires, clean car, and 2 very talented hands on the wheels. The question, that's the director brings it up, and yes, I'll just echo what he said. How talented are the hands around him? That's the point that Tanner was just making. Campbell, Cammer, Hill, Washington. Not that far until he gets up to the guys up front.
I'm curious if Payne's going to catch Farnyars.
Yep. And there's the 46 up there of Richard Regan. We've seen him put the car in the wall more times than I can count. Pace car is in.
I think Richard Regan has seen everything but the pace car this evening, but nonetheless, we're back green flag racing at Darlington with coming to 23 laps to go.
A bad start from Payne. He's going to lose a position. Oh, no! Regan gets really loose. Saves it. That opens the door for Laidhoff to pick up a spot.
Oh, Jones, man, almost got involved in an incident. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Jones wisely backs out of it as Cammer and Abraham were side by side. Now Cammer's on the high side, losing a spot to Dylan Jones back here. This is all practically 7th, 8th, and 9th.
All this chaos is just what the doctor ordered for Andrew Faranyars, who's opened up over a second lead on Andrew Payne. A driver we have not talked much about. How about Brett Laidhoff? He's going to try to make a move on the inside for second. Dives the 91 in there deep, cannot make it stick, loses all of his momentum.
Oh, man, and he will fall into the clutches into Richard Regan Jr. if he's not careful. But Regan Jr.'s actually got a problem because he's got Ryan Hill underneath him for position. And Regan's in the wall again.
And that is Hill who takes advantage of it.
Oh, what happened to
Jones in the 16th on the high side. He gets Washington.
Oh,
Jones
man.
is now up to 6th, but he has no track.
If anything happens to Dylan Jones, he'll be boxed in.
Now he cuts it down low, and I think he's going to make quick work of Regan, whose car has been in the wall so much. It's about 2 inches skinnier. Jones up to 5th position. Payne in 4th. Hill in 3rd.
And last time by off of turn number 2, Andrew Payne actually got really loose, lost a position to Brett Laidhoff and Ryan Hill. And now Payne has fallen to the clutches of Dylan Jones.
Jones working. He's going to lose a position, I think. Nope. Jones moves up into 4th. Payne back into 5th. In honor of our normal lead announcer with 20 laps to go, it's time to boogie.
Time to boogie down here right now. Dylan Jones is doing just that. But does he have enough time to catch Andrew Farnyars? He still has to get around Ryan Hill and Brett Laidhoff to be able to do that. Right now, he's going towards the inside on the 55 of Ryan Hill.
Great run off of 4C and later Ryan Hill.
One more to go to try
Jones
to catch.
Up to 3rd. Go ahead.
Yeah, one more to go to try to catch Andrew Farnyars. He's got a little bit of a distance to catch Laidhoff, but he is catching Laidhoff pretty significant here. It's just a matter on when, because we're coming down to 17 to go.
The interval back to Jones. 3.3 seconds with 17 laps to get there, but about 20 lap fresher tires. The driver in 2nd just put it in the wall. Let me correct myself. Almost 30 lap fresher tires for Dylan Jones. Faranyars holding a steady interval between him and the driver in 2nd. Jones 0.2 quicker. He's coming, but is there enough time?
I just wonder if all them caution laps really helped Farnyards. That's just the big question right there. If Jones is only gaining 0.2 of a second each lap, because usually if you look at the interval soup, 30 lap old tires compared to fresh tires, you'd think Jones would be catching a lot quicker.
Jones had to use up a ton of tires to get up there. In that battle for the final playoff spot, Jesse Abraham races in 8th with Gabriel Wood in front of him. Another spot for Jesse Abraham. Move him up into 7th. Locklear still safe in 13th.
Abraham fighting really hard on the bottom side of the racetrack. Gabriel Wood's not going to give up that position. So Abraham fell back to 8th place. But Abraham's not going to be denied here before this thing's set and done.
Let's go to 2nd because Dylan Jones is coming. It's 2 car lengths. It's now 1 car length. Locklear puts the car in the wall, but he continues to race.
There he goes towards the inside. Battle for 2nd place. Jones took a look. He's got the run, and looks like Leyenhoff is going to give it to him. So that'll put Dylan Jones. Now he's got one more car to catch for the race lead, and that's the race leader, Andrew Farnyards, separated by 2.5 seconds.
And it's shrinking. It is coming down, and there's nothing now. There are no obstacles between Jones and Farnyards. Abraham continues to race in 8th position. Locklear in 13th. That's a difference of 5. Not enough for Jesse.
Last time by at the line, relatively similar lap times. That was just because Dylan Jones was trying to get around Brett Leyenhoff. Right now, Jones is working with that clean air just a little bit, so he might run a faster lap time. I do believe right now it's still about 2.5 seconds. Pretty even at the moment. Farnyards ran a 29.90 compared to Dylan Jones, 29.86.
And knocked off about a 0.5 He'll need to pick it up some. Of course, remember, there is the green-white checker. And if these cars were put next to each other, you would have to figure that Dylan Jones would have the advantage in a 2-lap shootout. A battle for 4th position between Ryan Hill and Andrew Payne. Hill out in front. Payne stalking him. Good run out of 2. Payne ducks to the inside. Should be able to finish the job if he can keep the momentum down low. Boy, the 93 gets loose. They come off a 4.
Yeah, and he got into the throttle, and as soon as he got into the throttle, the car started pushing up the racetrack. And that allowed the 55 to get the momentum run off of turn number 4.
You can get there, but you can't make it stick. Meanwhile, the interval to the leader, 2.4. He's knocking off about a 1/10, maybe 2/10 a lap.
Oh, man, Payne, did he just get it extremely loose, like off of turn 2 again? Because that's been the hot spot corner tonight.
Trying his very best to get to Ryan Hill. He's lost a lot of time now.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to catch Farnyards unless we see a caution flag, because we got 8 laps to go, coming to 7 to go here.
Made up almost no time that lap. It was down to 2.5 seconds the last time around. They come around this time 2.6, so he lost a 1/10.
Farnyards was faster last time by there.
Let's drop back to 5th position as this our 4th position here between Ryan Hill and Andrew Payne. Payne in the 93 looking to get something done. Racing just for pride.
Yeah, Payne thought about looking towards the inside, and they kind of tucked back in line there. Still trying to pressure Ryan Hill. Oh man, Hill got really loose, and I do believe Payne got really loose there. Lost a little bit of momentum. Man, Payne's just been loose everywhere today.
And you can almost hear Andrew Farnyards coming over the microphone saying, "Ryan, Andrew, settle down. Last thing we need is a yellow flag."
Car in the wall in the back of the pack who just lost a position. That was Jesse Abraham. Lost it to Kyle Kammer. Abraham backed up.
The lead now is up to 3 seconds. Only a yellow flag, I think, will give Dylan Jones any hope.
I think Jones may have burned off the tires trying to get around everybody back there.
Or maybe saying, I can't get there before the green, unless we have a yellow flag. Let me slow down and save a little bit and hope for a yellow so I have something to race with.
Hey, man, Jones is trying to push this car, man. I understand loose is fast, but man.
Well, he continues to lose now down to 3.5 seconds. 4 laps to go.
And Farnyards is out for a Sunday drive.
Andrew has dominated the regular season. He's dominating the final chapter of it. He'll come into the playoffs with a ton of playoff points, but remember, they only work for the first 3 rounds. He'll have to earn those playoffs, start earning again, to get from the round of 12 to the round of 8. You won't want to miss it.
And Farnyards is showing that he can do that each and every single week. He's shown he's had the fast car. He's shown, hey, I'm the man in this series.
Our leader coming around with 2 to go. Hill and Payne continue to race in that order. Dylan Jones gave it everything he could, but he just ran out of equipment. Right now, he is 1.8 seconds ahead of Brett Ladehoff. He is losing ground. He'll be lucky if Jones can stay in second. Meanwhile, our leader has seen the white flag. It's the beautiful blue number 88. He's got Air Force on there, quality care service, Ford credit. And right now, he is a credit to this series. Andrew Farnyards wins the final chapter of the regular season of the AdPro 3 Series 360 Cup season. Dylan Jones, Brett Ladehoff goes second and third. Been on the front stretch. And just for good measure, it's Jesse Abraham who goes across the start-finish line sideways.
Yeah, he got loose, and I do believe he had Gabriel Wood finish him off.
Well, the racing is over here for the Sim Speed Shop 200, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break, but we'll come back to run down the finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Hey, we finished under green. Let's go to break. Sanctioned by the Simulated Stock Car Association, this is the AdPro 360 Cup Series, round 17 from Darlington, brought to you here on the Global Sim Racing channel. The final results are in the books. Let's bring you the final order right now. It was Andrew Farniar's. Boy, he was really the class of the field today, and he gets the deserving win. Dylan Jones, give it all he had to settle for second. Brett Ladoff, a very impressive third place finish. Ryan Hill and Andrew Payne go fourth and fifth. The back half of your top 10, well, that's a very quiet run from David Washington. Gabriel Wood, the 00 machine, comes home in seventh. Kyle Kammer ran up front for a little while. He has to settle for eighth. Ninth and 10th, Jesse Abraham, remember, he's in ninth, and Gerald Campbell in 10th.
Outside that top 10, Eric Stanford's going to finish 11th tonight. Mark McFadden, coming from 21st, finishes in 12th. Richard Regan Jr. had a fast qualifying time, but he had a very loose race car. He'll end up 13th here tonight, 5 laps down. First car, multiple laps down. William Locklear's biggest competition tonight was Jesse Abraham. I do believe Locklear is in the playoffs. Locklear will finish 14th tonight. Pole sitter Daniel Eberhardt will finish in 15th. Gary Sexton, league organizer, will finish in 16th. Luis Samaso in the 17th position. Ethan Moore will finish 18th. Alan Elwood started third. He'll finish 19th. And rounding out the top 20 is Ellery Queen. Judd Danielson finishes in the blackjack position of 21st. Jackson will finish in 22nd. Josh Bonwell in 23rd. And Morgan Baird will finish 24th and did not start the races in this evening's festivities.
I'm fortunate enough to be able to talk to our race winner, Andrew Farniars. Andrew, congratulations. I know it wasn't easy, but you made it look that way. And he's got his mic muted there a little bit. He's going to talk to us. He had a good start. He qualified in second position, came home in first. This will be his 7th win of the season. He will pick up not only a few more playoff points for winning this race, but he also picks up 15 playoff points for being the season champion. And he is still muted. So what we'll do is we'll escort Andrew back out to the waiting room. And we'll bring in our second place finisher if we can, or we have somebody here to talk to. I guess we'll talk to our third place finisher, and we'll let Tanner do that as we talk to Brett Ladoff.
Yeah, I've caught up with Brett Ladenhoff here, who had an up and down day, but will finish in the third spot. And Brett, you had a very eventful day after starting in 7th place, up and down the leaderboard, hitting the wall for turn number 2. How crazy was that handling of the race car then today? Because Darlington, it was a hot, slick track, but Darlington's no easy task for you.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. With it being hot like it was, the track was real slippery. You get 15 laps on your tires, and you were just it was all about the throttle control then. In this place, when you get around on somebody, you get beside them down the straightaway and they let you go. That's what's nice about Darlington. But yeah, wall can bite you. Luckily, we caught it right every time, kind of hanging it out. I didn't have a lot of practice laps coming in. I kind of was a one-off deal. I'm pretty busy, so I come in, run it with Gary, and I'm normally doing dirt stuff. But I like Darlington anyways. Let's give it a shot, and it worked out pretty well.
I bet all that dirt experience on iRacing here has certainly played off with the handling of the race car here at Darlington. But it looked like today you played a little tire strategy to try to get up towards the front. I'm seeing you did a 42-lap stint, including caution flags. How were the tires wearing out there? It just seemed like the tires weren't wearing that quickly, but you still needed tires at the end of a green flag run.
Yeah, what I kind of set myself up for there was I knew I wasn't going to do what anybody else was doing. I had to kind of figure out. I got 5 sets. I'm starting with 1. The two stages that gets got 2 sets left after that. And my plan was I was going to be fine if we went green there at the end, but I knew I had a leg up if we got a caution with 15 to go. I'd come in, get tires, and I'd have only 1 of fresh tires. So and I was just once I got into second there. Dylan come up. He had fresh tires, and I just tried to ride. And I didn't want to impede his progress or anything. So I let him go and just kind of rode. I wasn't going to catch Andrew, so I just kind of let him go and finished it out. Once we got to about lap 140, I knew basically I was done pitting. So it worked out though. It was a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing them when I get a chance to. It's rare these days that I get a chance to even jump on here, but when I do, it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like you're having a lot of fun out there, indeed, as far as running into third place, too. Like I said, you're up and down the leaderboard, but you still made it work to finish third. You mentioned that you're a pretty busy guy. Do you plan on participating in any future AdPro Cup Series races? The next race is next week at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you show up at Indianapolis, how do you feel about your chances at Indy?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Trying to think next week. Yeah, there's a chance I make next week. We get pretty busy around here with specials racing, so basically after September I'll be free again on Thursdays and whatnot. And I don't know if I do come next week. Indy's tough. It's a lot of patience. The racetrack, it's obviously 4 corners, 4 different corners. It's a long race. The main thing there is keep your fenders on it for the majority of the race where you can get at the end. It's very narrow, so. Just kind of a wait and see, save your equipment, and hopefully with the last 50 laps you got something for them.
All right, Brett, sounds like a good deal there. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Congratulations on a podium finish here tonight of 3rd place. And if you do show up at Indianapolis, best of luck to you at Indy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for putting this on. Had a lot of fun.
Back to you, Soup.
Brett Leidenhoff, our 3rd place finisher. Now we'll try one more time to talk to our race winner, Andrew Farniars. Andrew, you have a copy?
Yes, sir. You got me?
There we go. We got you. Hey, let's talk a little bit about your win. First of all, it's the 7th of the season. I know it was difficult, but you made it look easy.
This track is really, really hard to drive, and I just, we took it easy. We were trying to just save right front tires, and we were able to do it. And I think that showed in the long run. We didn't really have short run speed tonight, but it proved on the long run. And then the tire strategy, we just got real lucky there that Dylan, I think, hit the wall when he was trying to run us down. But all in all, a good race, a good win for this 88 team, especially going into the chaser.
We definitely noticed you saving your stuff early, that you would lay back early on and have a strong car at the very end. Let's talk a little bit about Daniel Eberhard. Now, in the first stint, you got around him really easy. Are you guys friends, or did he just give up the ghost there on that pass? But you got that first stage win kind of easy at the end.
Yeah, I think he actually thought the stage was going to lap 40. I don't know why. We had a run there, and I think it would have been a good finish to the stage, but I think he thought it was 40 laps. So right. I don't know.
That makes sense.
I think it was a mistake on his part.
No, that's a great answer. That makes sense. As the lead commentator also thought it was 40 laps. Let me get you out of here on this question. There's a lot of traditionalists that say, "Oh man, I hate this new scoring system and I like it the old-fashioned way." But honestly, if we did the old way, we'd be watching paint dry here for the rest part of the season. You got to start all over now. Sure, you're taking a lot of playoff points into this first round, but you got to really work to make sure you get from the round of 12 to the round of 8.
I approach every week the same way. I'm very fortunate to have speed every week, especially with Dave and Dylan, and it comes from help from all those guys on Aegis. And I work as hard as I can and practice as hard as I can for every week. So, that just accumulated points up. It was nice to have the big lead, but now I guess we're just going to go and try to work harder and get more speed. And it's definitely a reset. And we're looking forward to it.
Well, if the racing gods are just, you'll get the championship, but you're going to have to work for it because things start to get wiped clean and you go in with a few points, but after that, it gets tough. Good luck the rest of the way.
I do want to say thanks to all the drivers out there and all the fans watching, everybody on Aegis who helps out, and you guys for broadcasting. I always love watching it back.
Terrific. Thank you very much for the compliment. There's your race winner, his 7th time this season, Andrew Farniars. And darn it, I should have got the official pronunciation of his name while he was here. I wanted to make sure we were doing that right. We are going next to, I believe we're going to read my notes here. We're going to bring in Hill. If I can find him up there, let's escort him in. There's Ryan. Come on in and join us here. And Tanner, I'll let you talk to Ryan Hill.
Yeah, I've caught up with Ryan Hill, and Ryan, you had a very eventful day after starting 17th, so you basically seen a lot of action. But overall, you had a relatively clean race car with a couple of fender benders here and there. Tell me about the day, man. Look, the car was a handful, especially around traffic, and you come home with a 4th place position.
Yeah, I don't know how to really start off with. I knew it was going to be a interesting race from the beginning, so just went to the back and kind of rode back there, and then certain things happened, certain things didn't happen. Some things went our way, some things didn't go our way, and one of the things that was on my side is you got to be at the end in order to finish good. And I was fortunately lucky enough to have a little bit of damage that didn't cost me a whole lot of positions to put me up there in the top 5.
Yeah, and Ryan, you had a very consistent season. You got 2 wins, which happened at Pocono and Michigan. Today here at Darlington seemed like a mediocre of a ride for you here today, just because we are not seeing that Ryan Hill that was up towards the front. As you said, it was hit or miss here today. Were you concerned at any point when it came down to green flag pit stops? And here's the reason why I asked. Darlington's probably one of the toughest pit roads on iRacing, other than Dover that I can think of to get onto. Were you concerned at all if green flag pit stops may come along that there might be some miscues?
It's funny that you say that, because that was literally one thing we were talking about right before we did our picture. It was the green flag pit stops. Yeah, I mean, I did a couple practice stops, but I knew kind of in the back of my head that as loose as the track was, that wasn't gonna happen. So I mean, sometimes you just kind of have to believe in yourself a little bit. If it did happen, I knew I could do it. I wouldn't have an issue doing it. But it was just one of those things where you kind of have to sit back and look at, is it really going to go green? I don't think so.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan, another question for you here before we let you go here is these upcoming 3 races is going to be Indianapolis, Charlotte, Roval, and Talladega and these are playoff races. Now we're done with the regular season. Does your mindset as a driver change when you enter the playoffs and you see those upcoming racetracks?
A little bit. I think my mindset's mainly going to be the same, that like exactly the way I put it. I mean, you got to be there at the end of the race in order to score points. Sorry. Stage points are good and all, but I mean, you have to be there at the end. You don't want to be going into the playoffs, and especially when we have 3 races each, you don't want to go in and DNF. And we're going to 3 very, very unique and different tracks. You have Indy, which is just a fun track. No matter what car it is, it's always fun. I think I'm good there. I've always come up near the top 5 there. The Roval's definitely going to be a interesting one, depending if we get the new one and the new build for Season 3. And the Talladega, I mean, that's Talladega. I can't really tell you anything. What's going to happen at Talladega, I don't know.
Well, maybe other than Indianapolis, sounds like there's a lot of unknowns heading into the playoffs here, Ryan. And hopefully you can get her done, go to victory lane. That way you don't have to worry about Charlotte, Roval, or Talladega. You can just move on to the next round. But Ryan, thank you for taking the time to talk with us this evening. Congratulations on the 4th place finish after starting 17th. And I wish you the best of luck at Indianapolis next week.
All right, thank you. And I just want to go ahead and say thanks to Hilco Disposal and Recycling for my sponsor, and Gary Sexton for painting my Michael Waltrip number 55 throwback. Michael Waltrip's one of the few guys why I'm driving the 55 car in real life and sim racing. So it's always fun to come to one of these throwback races and, kind of show off who your kind of favorite drivers are.
And there you have it. That is Ryan Hill, ladies and gentlemen, who finishes 4th after starting towards the back of the pack in 17th. Back to you, Sue.
Michael Waltrip, the self-proclaimed driver who said he's the worst driver to ever win the Daytona 500 twice. And with that said, we'd like to thank the people that made this possible. Remember, today's race was brought to you thanks to simspeedshop.com, a great place to order custom button boxes as well as buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to simspeedshop.com. Thanks to our title sponsor, AdPro 360, an advertising agency specializing in digital and social media. For more information, go to adproresults.com. To everyone at the Simulated Stock Car Association for organizing the AdPro 360 Cup Series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast. On the screen now are just some of the companies, equipment, and software that made this broadcast possible. The music comes courtesy of Eric Eckholm and Jude Lalonde. See the screen to how to contact each of them.
The SSCA Cup Series returns in 1 week for race number 1 out of 7 of the SSCA Cup Series playoffs on August 23rd from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action, and we hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like to know more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and on Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel.
Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Tanner, Joe, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.